Good morning, folks. This is Waylon Lewis, live from Boulder, Colorado. And I just woke up a couple minutes ago and our site is mostly down. So I figured I'd jump in and do a video since there was no... normally the videos compete with our readership and it's actually kind of not good for our site, but we do them because they're a nice sort of offering for people. So right now there's no readers on our site to really... distract with the video. So anyway, I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. If you're just tuning in, say where you're from and maybe just say a word about your Christmas, whether you celebrated or not, how your Christmas day was, Christmas Eve, your wintry time. I'm Buddhist. We celebrate Children's Day, the winter solstice. The Romans called it Invictus Solis. It's a wonderful kind of time of year. I love it. A lot of my friends, I feel like I have two groups of friends. Some of them hate this time of year and want to just fly south and be on the beach and kind of pretend that winter doesn't exist. And I get it. It's nice to run around in flip-flops and a swimming suit and be warm and comfortable all the time. And then the other half love the kind of outdoorsy, wintry stuff and getting cozy in a hot tub or in blankets like I've got going on. And I think I'm more that kind. I like the change. I don't like being comfortable all the time. I like the sort of challenge and the resulting coziness of winter. But yeah, so if you're just tuning in, give it a like or a love. That'll help the video get beyond. And today I want to talk about the Buddhist notion of natural hierarchy. So if you give it a lot of likes or loves or funny emoticons, what happens is the Facebook algorithm says, oh, this video is happening, let's release it beyond the choir. So it really helps. It's actually meaningful. So the Buddhist notion of natural hierarchy is really interesting, and I've done some blogs on that. I think we have Caitlin on duty. Caitlin, if you could search for natural hierarchy on Elephant and put it in the comments, that would be super helpful. So it's super interesting. So the triangle that I'm doing here is sort of conventional society, conventional hierarchy. So you have important people at the top, you have rich people at the top, you have celebrities at the top, you have, you know, business tycoons, you have the 1%, that kind of thing at the top. And then you go down and there's, you know, people make a lot of money but maybe aren't famous or whatever. And then maybe you have the middle class, and then you have folks who are poor and completely unimportant from a conventional point of view. And then you have the homeless, and you have the weak, and you have maybe developmentally disabled or the elderly, all the classes of people that we almost want to ignore as a society. And this is neurotic kind of conventional, unkind society. In Buddhism, the notion of natural hierarchy is actually basically flipped on its head. So it's an upside down pyramid. So if you, basically the notion of leadership in Buddhism is that you want to serve, you want to be of benefit. So instead of it being all about me, like my goal in life is to get the Ferrari or the Maserati or the Bentley or whatever, maybe the BMW i8 with the cool doors that open, or the Tesla with the, what are they called? The gull wing doors. That's a notion where it's all about me. I want to have a huge mansion. I want to have my own basketball court because I like to play basketball. That'll be convenient. And then what you have is you have these NBA stars and stuff with these huge empty homes. And at the end of the day, you know, you grab you might be the richest person on earth, but you're still grabbing your remote and you're just trying to find something to do with yourself. So the notion is that money doesn't necessarily equal happiness. Obviously, making enough money that you can pay for your groceries and pay for your bills and you know, buy presents for your loved ones, have basic needs met is important. So all of this is probably very obvious to you, but the Buddhist notion of natural hierarchy is really interesting because basically if you're a leader, like I'm a boss of a business, then you're serving. So everyone is on top of me. I'm serving everyone else. So the more important you are, you're only important because you're actually let me pull this table toward me a bit, because you're actually the foundation or making possible the work of many others. So today I wanted to dedicate this video to my auntie, Aunt Liz. She is the kind of person who, if we were in a enlightened society, and all of you have one of these people, so maybe if you're inspired, put the name of that person in the comments. Aunt Liz has spent the last couple months caring for, or the last couple of years, but particularly the last couple of months, but really the last couple of years, caring for her mother, my grandmother Carol, who just passed away. And it was a relatively thankless job, particularly the last while. I won't go into detail, but, you know, Grandma wasn't all there anymore, and it wasn't, you know, it was hard. Feeding a meal to her was hard. Connecting with her was harder and rarer. And by day, Aunt Liz is teaching and helping out kids who really need help, not even so-called normal kids. And she's just like a kind, funny, intelligent, caring person all day long, every day, that I've seen. And I think what's interesting about that is she's nothing, right? In our conventional society, she's not famous. She's not valued. We don't value teachers. We don't really value waiters or waitresses. We don't value all the people who kind of make our society possible. So a lot of people come to Boulder here. It's beautiful today. I'll give you a little hit of it. There's the Flatirons out there. And a lot of people come to Boulder, a lot of white people, I should say, from cities, and they'll say, I like Boulder, it's beautiful, but it seems to be all white people. There's no diversity here. And I always get a little bit defensive, I guess, or angry, because I say, actually, a significant percentage of Boulder is Latino. There's a really strong culture. I grew up here, and a lot of my best friends were Laotian. There's big refugee communities and Latino, but you know, the whitey visitors here don't take time to connect with those communities. They just go to all the, you know, all the cafes and all the farm to table restaurants, which are all great, and I love those places. But we tend to see what we want to see and ignore what we want to ignore. So our view of society is sort of self-reinforcing. The epitome of that is the gated community notion, where you kind of keep out everything that might be scary, even if there's nothing particularly scary. So I don't know if any of this is helpful, but just to re-examine what our society values as famous or as great or as worthwhile, and to say, okay, if I'm serving the benefit of others, I'm actually important to other people. You see this in one of the Holiday's most revered and wonderful movies is called It's a Wonderful Life. And I haven't watched it for a few years, but I've probably watched it 5 times in my life, and I love it. I cry every time. So I encourage people to watch it, because it's about this guy who kind of works himself to death, and he's there for everybody. And he doesn't feel appreciated, he doesn't feel valued, and at some point he gets a bit disappointed and suicidal. And the movie kind of goes into this thing showing him the value or the effect of everything that he's done, working himself to death to try and create a better community. So we can remove the notion of martyrdom, and we can say you can do it with joy. In Buddhism, they call it Sugata. So there's 2 classes of hero. One class is called Tathagata in Buddhism. That's someone who goes over the river of samsara and becomes enlightened and works to benefit all sentient beings. And that's really cool. I'm way down there. You might be way down there. This is like a really big deal. But then there's another one that's even higher. It's the highest, called Sugata. And it means one who has crossed the river and been of benefit to all sentient beings. The exact same as Tathagata, but it's up here, Sugata. But then they add 2 words. They add with joy. So if our journey is actually with joy, no matter how hard it is, we take time to appreciate ourselves, our own heart, and our experience. We take some joy in the journey, the difficult journey. Then that's the highest class of hero in Buddhism. So basically, I've said it, natural hierarchy. If you want to be at the top, if you want to be famous, if you want to be great in an enlightened society, you might find yourself at the bottom, serving everyone else. And that doesn't mean that you're worthless. It means that, well, the Buddhist quote is, if you want to be truly happy, think first of others. And if you want to be unhappy, you think only of yourself. So if you want to be, you know, we've all had that experience when you're volunteering with children, or you're volunteering somewhere, or you're a big brother. I was a big brother when I was a kid, ironically, for a little sister. And it was like pure joy. It was the funnest ever. You get outside of yourself and you stop obsessing about your little problems. Like my website is down right now. And, you know, the 30 people it pays for, their lives, none of that's working. So I could get obsessed about that. And it is important to focus on your problems and try and solve them. But there's a kind of obsession where you just take yourself too seriously and you can get depressed. Or depression is even better than the alternative, which you can take it out on others and start a little war and be cruel to people. Or start a big war. And if you're, you know, in a position like the president, you can have a war based on your hurt feelings. So if you have any questions, I'll go through comments. If you're just tuning in, say where you're from. And if there's anyone in your life, maybe give them a shout out who isn't famous, isn't revered, no one acknowledges them, but they just work every day with some joy to be a benefit for others. Give them a little love, even if it's just their first name and you don't want to tag them or anything. That's totally cool. All right, I'm going to go through comments, and then we'll meditate for 2 minutes, and then we'll be out of here. How's that? All right. Hello from Michigan, New Orleans, Alabama, Driggs, Idaho. Beautiful snowy Christmas here with friends and family. Someone's on the beach. Burlington. I want to move to Burlington. Let me know how it is. Seattle. India. Dibben. Prim, Nevada. Nice, Reggie. Watch the kids snowboard. We have a nice hill in the backyard. Patricia in Thailand. Caitlin here. And Caitlin, if you can put in my natural hierarchy video or blogs and anything about that Buddhist notion of being kind to others, or if you think of others first, that's happiness. All that stuff. Just put in some good Trungpa Rinpoche blogs or Pema Chodron blogs. Yeah, it's like 9:30 here today. Deep. Patricia, I find my experience of Buddhism is very hierarchical, but it may be more of a reflection of the culture in a Buddhist country. Yeah, so Patricia, Buddhism is not better than any other religion particularly. Like every religion is made up of human beings. So human beings tend to want power. They tend to not pay attention to the teachings. The important thing is, if you are checking out Buddhism, is like read Trungpa Rinpoche, read Pema Chodron. I have a blog on the best Buddhist books for Buddhist beginners. Read the teachings. Actually study the teachings and meditate. Those are the two most important things in Buddhism. And then, you know, obviously meditation is called meditation practice. It's practice for life. It's practice to be a benefit for others. So it's not about itself. You're not meditating because you want to be holy. You're meditating because you want to be of service. Alrighty. Yeah, Patricia, so the view of natural hierarchy is not that everyone is flat. Not that everyone is the same. That's a sort of, you know, communist or socialist idea, which is fine and interesting, but there actually still is hierarchy. There are important people in the Buddhist world, and those important people are the servants, the people helping, the teachers, the anyone who's serving, basically, you know. All right. I am inspired by my friend Tammy, a health and wellness coach. Awesome. Judy, thank you. Good morning from McKinney, from Lorelei. Good morning from Austin. Courtney, yeah, great point. We always see our own storyline. Yeah, it's a wonderful life. Everyone should get out there and watch it, or get in there. Ahad in Louisville. Waterford, Ireland. Okay, I want to go there too. Juanita, Misty, Kelsey, Denver, Maumee, Ohio, Mexico. Cool, Eduardo. Ria, Bastrop, Santa Monica, Idaho, Moldova. Wow. All right. I'm not seeing too many questions. Carolyn, it's amazing how perspective changes with each of us. When I hear that someone is a good businessman or woman, I ask them to explain what that means. Unfortunately, the vast majority equate good with wealth, success with money. Fame and success to me is what they contribute to their employees and their community. Amen. So a great boss isn't just one who makes money. A great boss is one who makes money so that employees can have a living, so that the product or whatever they're selling can be a benefit. Those who make money exploiting others are basically just draining money from others. There's some amazing articles recently in the New Yorker and elsewhere about business people who have made millions and millions, even billions, just exploiting the poorest of the poor. Prison systems, folks who can't pay their fines. That is the lowest of the low. And those people should feel god-awful as they sit in their gold palaces, not enjoying their own life at all. I don't wish them ill, but I do wish that they feel what they are doing to millions of people. It's truly as close to evil as Buddhism would ever call anything. All right. Bonnie. Shout out to Bonnie from Sherilyn. I like it. She does stuff joyfully every day. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Morning, morning. UK, I want to visit. South Africa, I kind of want to visit too. All right. Rich, my favorite thing you say all the time is to be of service to others and do everything you do with that intention. It has changed my life. Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Yeah, so that's just Buddhism, not even me. And it actually really works. Again, you can obsess about your own issues. You know, you could have a scratch right here. Everything in your life could be great, and you could have a cut. You know how it is. And then you just spend your whole day like, I got this cut. And it's kind of okay. Like, you want to take care of the cut. You want to take care of yourself. It's not that you shouldn't care about yourself. That's Maitri, which Caitlin maybe could put in the blogs. But it's a sort of self-obsession and a small mind. And what the Buddhists would call kind of a monkey mind or an animal mind is a small mind. And instead you can raise your gaze and say, okay, how can I help myself? And how can I create a little benefit in the world? And, you know, again, coming back to my auntie, it's her birthday today, Aunt Liz. It's her big 39th birthday. And, you know, she teaches and she works her butt off for others. My mom is similar. And they're obviously not famous. Who's famous in this society? It's always like actors and wealthy people who, hopefully the actors and the wealthy people are creating wonderful art or creating wonderful businesses that are environmental and societal benefit. But typically that may not be the case. Sarah Joy in Vienna. Wow, all these places. I want to travel everywhere. Pennsylvania. I grew up hanging in Pennsylvania a little bit. Yeah, the pyramid. The upside down pyramid. Brianna, what's my favorite book? That's a big question. I do have that list of best Buddhist books, if that's what you mean. And hopefully Caitlin can put that in the blog. My favorite book, just period, is probably F. Scott Fitzgerald. Or Gift from the Sea by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. We have a blog on that, Caitlin. Or Huck Finn, Mark Twain. So many good books. Jack Kerouac. I love a bunch of his books. Homes All Sizes is actually quite wonderful. On the Road, Tristessa is quite wonderful and lesser known. Town in the City was one of his first and is wonderful. Town in the City was the first time I read anything where I realized that other human beings, seems common sense now that I'm old, but that other sentient beings have the same experiences that we do. There was this wonderful scene in Town in the City where he's talking about love and that heartbreak, and I was like, I know that feeling. It's not just me. I'm not alone. It's great. Yeah, I'd love to come to the UK. I'm not sure. I want to go to some small town where it's super bikeable. Not small town, small city or big town. All right. Okay. Happy birthday, Aunt Liz. All right, Mary Beth. What are my thoughts on creating space for an emotionally available man? I think that's mainly about you. I think, read that blog on My Tree. Like, really be good to yourself in a genuine way, in a tough way. You have to make friends with the parts of yourself that you don't like. And at that point, you won't have clinging. You won't think that all happiness and love is outside of you, and you'll meet someone who is also has made friends with themselves. Or when you meet that person, you'll acknowledge or see that, and then you'll be able to have a genuine relationship. The notion of relationship in Buddhism is that it's a partnership. It's not a codependency. It's a partnership with space in between, and that space gives room for passion, for humor, for change. One person wants to do this, one person wants to do that, and you can bend like bamboo instead of breaking. So I wrote a whole book about that, if anyone is interested. It's called Things I Would Like to Do With You. And it's kind of pretty romantic. It's about loneliness. It's about relationship from a Buddhist point of view. And just the Buddhist teachings that I grew up with. Yeah, it's available at elephantjournal.com/books. And it's super eco and pretty. And if anyone here has read it, you can say what you think of it so people can see whether it's good or bad. All right. Happy birthday, Auntie, from Alexis. Thank you. Yeah, someone just said, me too, I want to travel the whole world. Binny. Yeah, I've spent most of my life staring at a gosh darned laptop trying to build a business to be of some benefit. And while it's been incredibly fun and fulfilling in some ways, it's also incredibly isolating and withering sometimes. So there is some notion of I do want to get out of my little cocoon here. All right. Courtney, loving kindness towards self. How to find that balance of self-love in order to best serve others when it's too easy to dislike the self. Yeah, so Courtney's service is built on empathy. It's not built on martyrdom. So you have to first make friends with yourself, or at least be on that path. And then you'll naturally feel, when you feel your own sadness or your own heartbreak or your own, if you've gone through being homeless or being sick, you'll naturally feel empathy for others who might be going through that same thing or a worse version of it. So service comes out of empathy, not out of kind of wanting to be great or wanting to, some people will help. The kind of cliche on Tinder and stuff is these photos of white folks posing with a bunch of African children. And while maybe that's fine, maybe they're doing some service. Service isn't this kind of, I'm going to help you the way that I think I should help you without listening. Service is an honor and a privilege, and you listen in doing the service. You don't just kind of plop your preconceived notion upon them, because that won't actually help. So this isn't about being PC or anything. It's really just about genuine service is born of empathy, and empathy is born of doing the difficult work of making friends with yourself. And that you can study, or at least get a hint of, from that blog My Tree, which is in the comments. All right. Judy loves it when I talk randomly. Thank you. It seems the new corporate mentality from Bill Lawrence Jr. is often to treat humans as cost and to sacrifice them for profits and to externalize all collateral costs, right? All like environmental costs. You don't really count that stuff. And to sacrifice them for profits at the end of each fiscal year. They fail to see how self-defeating this is to their own goals, a finite and predictably downward trajectory. I love the inverted leadership model, allowing the most senior folks to serve the greatest number of less senior. Exactly. So the leader's at the bottom, and then they serve everyone else. And, you know, say the janitor or whomever, everyone is being served, and their job's made possible, hopefully, by the kind and thoughtful and responsible leadership at the bottom. This becomes viral in my experience, and the very definition of success changes, which seems to better accomplish the goal of profitability. Well said, Waylon. Amanda, how did I spend my Christmas? Any miracles come your way? No, I just mostly worked so that staff could have some time off and enjoy some time with their families and all that. And it was a little bit sad, I have to say. But I think sadness around Christmas is okay. It's sort of a rite of passage. We all go through it sometimes. I've never had a big family around me, so there's been a lot of Christmases and Thanksgivings that have been a little bit sad. But that sadness, I think it's a good reminder that sadness isn't badness. Sadness is you're feeling sad. You're just feeling your heart. It's not something you want to avoid necessarily. It's a feeling you want to make friends with and say, hey, okay, I'm alone. I'm working. I feel good about that. I should be kind to myself. I should be kind to my dog, you know, Redford, who's wandering around bored to death because Waylon's talking to his phone again. All right, so in the comments you can see, Caitlin can't link to our site because it's still down. But anyway, if you search back later, you'll find it. Richie, morning from Brooklyn, just about, what about when you just feel emotionally drained, almost like you're bleeding from emotional, something, too much thinking. Unfortunately, then this happens. I tend to want to just be alone, which I know is okay, but I know it's not fair to do that because half the battle is coming out of the self to relate to others. Not sure what I'm really trying to say. I guess it goes with the loneliness thing. How does one get over it? Over that recognition that loneliness is only apparent around others? I think that's a beautiful question. I think so. It is natural to want to be alone when you're kind of emotionally drained and spent. But really what you want is not necessarily to be alone. There's an instinct in you that says, I want to be alone, I want to take a bath, I want to read, I want to watch Netflix, whatever it is. I don't want to deal with the outside world, and then I'll have new strength, and then I can go out again. That's sort of the introvert, extrovert, whatever, duality, which isn't necessarily healthy. What's super healthy is when you spend alone time to really treat it like, treat yourself like, oh, this is a wonderful thing. You get your ice cream, you get your TV. Too many of the times when we're alone, we think it's bad, and we don't actually enjoy it. So take the time to enjoy being alone. Really set yourself up for enjoying it. So if anyone were to look in from the outside, they'd be like, damn, I want some of that. You're reading a nice book, you're having Epsom salts in your bath, whatever it is that's going to make you happy and truly restore you. So know that being alone is wonderful and valuable. And a lot of times when people say someone isn't emotionally available, well, that's true, because that person needs to spend some time with, number one, connecting with themselves. And then you can be available to others. So I don't know if that's at all helpful, but really just treat your alone time with some dignity. Instead of having your clothes on the floor and crappy food, really try and do it right. And then when you're with others who are genuine friends, that should not be emotional draining. That's a sign that you're with some really good people who you have a genuine relationship with. But if other people are challenging and irritating, that's also okay, and we can engage and we can learn from that. You don't want to just push away everyone who's difficult in your life. Tyler, thanks for the props. I think Judy, I think you get your wish, because I think the energy you're saying, I wish we could emit the energy that these hearts share online. So anything that we're doing today, it will change our lives a little bit for the better, hopefully, for the more genuine, and that will emit, you know. Mimi bloody loves my book. Thank you. That's the best, what do you call it? Oh, that's the best testimonial I could ask for. I need some coffee. Coffee. Who is coffee? Noel loves my book. Thank you. Courtney, best book. Everyone read Waylon's Things. There's the link to get my book. Lisa Fearman. I know that name. Good morning. I guess I could do a shout out right now for our academy, elephantjournal.com/academy, if you want to study with and learn from elephant editors about how to write and how to rock social media for your own career or for a new career, and how to edit and journalism ethics, sort of anti-fake news stuff, more important than ever. So elephantjournal.com/academy. It's quite affordable, and go check it out. Holly, yes, my parents are Buddhist. Mimi, my book was beautifully written and touched my heart. Or your heart. Judy, thank you. Shannon, ordering a copy of my book today, my Christmas gift to myself. Well, I hope you enjoy it. It is quite beautiful and lovingly produced. And you can tell that my mind is running down without a shower or coffee. I'm only going to last a few more seconds. All right. Where's Redford? Tyler, we need our species to be more loving and compassionate. It's a necessity. Won't there always be conflict and struggle, though? Yes. That's what compassion is for that conflict and struggle. It's not for when times are good. I mean, it's for all times. But, you know, we have to be able to show up. That's why there's this wonderful book called Shambhala, which I usually have around somewhere. I guess I don't. But anyway, it talks about the notion of warriorship. So when you're trying to be a benefit, that you're a warrior. So it's the notion is that you are in some kind of difficult, challenging battle. Not that you're trying to kill anyone. It's a warrior whose goal is not aggression, but is gentleness. Yeah, sadness is a rite of passage. That's interesting. Courtney, sadness is okay. It's part of the path and experience. Again, thank you for that reminder. Yeah, being kind to yourself is not selfish. Being truly kind. Just trying to be all about you in some sort of weird cocoony way. We have a blog on Elephant that none of you can read because our site is down called Cocoon. That is selfish. So there's a unselfish, just read about Maitri. You can go to YouTube and watch Pema Chodron about it. Alrighty. Sadness is not badness. You'll add that to your ripple. I like it. So many good comments suddenly. I can't get through all of them. Alone versus lonely. I love alone time. It's vital to my psychological self. Yeah, it's super fun. But it took many, many years. When I was younger, I felt shame to be alone on a Friday or a Saturday night or a Thursday night, you know, when my roommates would come home, and sometimes I wanted to be alone, and I would like be quiet because I didn't want to be found out that I was like wanting to be alone. So especially maybe for younger people, just figure out that alone time is awesome. Go for a hike on your own. Go do, you know, you can go out and be alone too. It doesn't have to be a sedentary kind of thing. Yeah, Siren Arrow Sigur's daughter, the single coolest name ever to comment. You have to feel what you are feeling. Every feeling, the good, the bad, feel it all. Alrighty. So many comments suddenly. I'm going to skip to the bottom because it's intimidating. Judy's buying it for Valentine's Day. That's sweet of you. Lillian, alone time is listening to your own self, your needs, wants, and haves, and appreciate them and listen to yourself. Yeah, you should be doing this video. Well said. Judy, Sosniski, I have and love your book. Thank you. What is the book called? It's called Things I Would Like to Do With You. If our site is down, you can probably find it on Amazon. But I'm not a huge Amazon fan, so if you can find it on elephantjournal.com/books, that would be ideal. But I don't know if the site's working. Alexis, define masculinity in your own words, please. Recently, I heard an aged man define it in his own words, and it left me feeling lighter and happier having just listened to him speak. Well, I'm here for you, Alexis. So, in the Buddhist tradition, there is the masculine principle and the feminine principle. And I actually don't think we have any blogs on that. I did an interview with Judith Zimmer Brown about the feminine principle in particular. So all people have both principles, which is very interesting from a Buddhist point of view. You know, given all the news about transgender bathrooms and all that, I was thinking about this last year. So even if you're 98% masculine principle and 2% feminine principle, we all have both. To different degrees. Maybe some are 50-50, but it's not just your sexuality, it's more fundamental than that. So it's really about, I think both have different enlightened qualities and both have different neurotic qualities. So the neurotic qualities of men, I don't fully remember, but I just gonna take a guess. I think it's something, there's some sort of heavy dullness or ignorance. There's a kind of closed-mindedness to it. Obviously there seems to be, given the world, some aggression to it. And then the enlightened aspect might be some kind of gentleness and kind of nurturing or protecting. But honestly, I have no idea what I'm talking about here. I am always honest about what I remember and what I don't, and this is something I haven't studied for a long time. The feminine principle I do remember a bit more of because for whatever reason we talk about it more. So the neurotic aspect to that, and again, this is not talking about women or men, this is talking about something we all have. The neurotic aspect to it is a certain kind of sort of wildness and what do you call it? Just not being moored to reality. You could call it crazy, I guess. And then the enlightened aspect is insight, wisdom, a kind of cutting through quality of insight, prajna. But if anyone has studied this stuff, I would love to be saved here. My mom knows all this, and if she were watching, she'd probably be like, Waylon, let me, like in Star Wars when the video goes, she would just push me aside and she would talk, and that would be much better because my mom knows all this stuff. So enough talk. Big love to Aunt Liz on your birthday. I hope you watch at least the parts about you. And big love to my mom and teachers everywhere, everyone who is of benefit everywhere. And if you'd like to join me, let's meditate for 2 minutes. Meditation is very easy. I'll just do the instruction. I should say it's very simple instruction. It's very difficult. It's actually not that difficult. I have no idea. You just have to do it forever, basically. But you only have to do it a little bit in community, alone. Once you get going, you can just do it a little bit. In the beginning, you might want to do some retreats. I've done a lot of retreats. All right. So we begin by dedicating the merit of what we're about to do to everyone, not to ourselves, not just to ourselves. Ourselves are included. Take a great posture. Actually, join in with me if you can. And just eyes open. We're not trying to shut the world out right now. There's different meditation practices. Some are closed, that's fine. This one's open. This is shamatha. Hands are just flat on your thighs. You can be sitting in a chair or on a cushion or on a couch in my case. Find your breath in and out. Just place your attention lightly on your breath. Actually join in, folks. Take a good posture and relax. Eyes are open, mouth can be slightly open. Find your breath in and out. Okay, if you find yourself distracted like I am, just label it thinking. I was thinking about my business and how readership is so tough and our site is just down. Now I'm going to be depressed and I don't have any energy to make everything happen. Blah, 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 blah. Just acknowledge it, thinking without any sense of aggression. It's not bad. Ah, I got caught up thinking. Return your attention to your breath. This is how we free ourselves from our own storylines, our own solidity, and we can get present. You just do that until you feel yourself really fully present with your breath. And then you can dedicate your merit to all sentient beings. And let's all together bow to one another right now, wherever you are in the world, bowing to you with respect, with friendliness, with appreciation. May your day be of benefit, and may any merit that may have accidentally happened in this video not be for us, but be for the whole world, including us. Thank you so much. If you want to subscribe, since Elephant is down, you can go to youtube.com/elephantjournal. If you want to help this video get out beyond the choir, you can give it a like or a love. Let's flood this video with likes and loves, and or a funny emoticon, and the Facebook algorithm will give this video out beyond the choir of those who automatically would see it. So go to youtube.com/elephantjournal and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's obviously your choice. And thank you. It's been fun, and you have distracted me from the fact that our site has been down, which is really depressing. So I'll answer one last question while you guys flood it with likes, which is very sweet. Stacy noticed how expressive my hands are. We need to meet my mom. Yeah, my mom's awesome. You could call it crazy, LOL. Yeah. Exactly what Mimi said. I'm overwhelmed with all the love. I need coffee. All right. Wake me up before you go. Go, go. I'm hanging on to something. Yo, yo. All right. Thanks, folks. A lot of comments about the book. That's cool. Oh, yeah. Join the Winter Academy. Learn to write, blog, edit. Learn journalism ethics. elephantjournal.com/academy. Alice, yeah, I wrote a book. Very sweet of you. Judy, I need some of your coffee. Lindsay says, learning to love being alone by learning to love myself was very difficult. Difficult, but super worthwhile. The loneliest I've ever... Hey, Redford, come here. I've ever been... Here's Redford. He's ready to go outside. All right, back to Lindsay. Loneliest I've ever been was when I was surrounded by people who were toxic for me on a daily basis. Oh, I'm petting his little face. He is definitely ready to go party. All right, thank you, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. We do these every day, except for when I don't do them for weeks at a time. Thanks so much. If you want all of our professional videos and the shorter videos, youtube.com/elephantjournal is the best place to go. Oh, so what I was going to say to Lindsay, she was saying, the loneliest I've ever been is when I was surrounded by people who were toxic for me on a daily basis. The only thing I would say is you can work with toxic people. We don't want to just get rid of everyone who's challenging in our life and surround ourselves with cozy yes men. We want to surround ourselves with good people who care about us truly, but we also want to be able to engage with difficult parts of life. We don't want to hide. So, read about Tonglen, read about how to work with difficult emotions brought on by others. In Buddhism, we say our enemies are our greatest teachers. So because they provoke feelings in us that we're not comfortable dealing with. So they help us grow and soften. Instead of grow and harden, we grow and soften. All right. Thanks, folks.